Hello, welcome to another edition of XFeed. My name is DeShiller. Hope you've had a fantastical week. Today is FUD Friday, but I haven't been able to find that much FUD on the timeline. Well, could have. We're trying to keep a little bit more of a positive vibe. Maybe we'll get into the FUD next week, but talking over the first point today, the final Scromy Squiggle, not Quiggle, mint. Okay. Apparently you can participate in it. So let's go over what NFT Now's article. A 4-year generative art journey will conclude next week as the Chromie Squiggle project reaches its finale. The seminal art blocks released last mint is set to be commemorated in a unique way, sourcing participation from the Web3 community and preserving the moment in the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. The mastermind behind the event is Artblock's founder and Squiggle artist Snowfro, who has announced a special farewell smart contract developed in collaboration with renowned audiovisual artist OX Def Beef. It would be incredibly meaningful for me to get as many people as possible to interact with the contract, so please help me spread the word. So it's going live on Monday, July 15th. It's going to be open for 1 week, closing on the 22nd, and participation in the farewell is designed to be straightforward and secure. There'll be no website involved and no need to connect wallets to any third-party site, a measure taken to protect participants from scams, which we got more of that in a second. Stay tuned. Instead, involvement is achieved by sending any amount of ETH to the smart contract address. This can be as little as 0.00000000000000000001 or the suggested amount of 0.001. Importantly, any ETH sent will be immediately returned to the sender, confirming their participation without any financial cost. Okay. So I guess you send them to me, it gets back, it's written on the chain of the Squiggle. Holy smokes, there we go. Wild to think, though, for anybody that's been in the space for a while, early days when we had so many of these, we'll call it like mainstream ETH NFTs really take off, there was a huge narrative around historical NFTs, generative art blocks ended up going completely insane at the time, and Squiggles was one of the ones that was the biggest benefactor of such. Nick Tomeno here talking about consumer crypto. We keep hearing these trends, these words. Does it mean anything? Does it not? There's a quick breakdown. Just as you can see, there's about, 4 points. This is pretty quick. We'll go through it and digress just a little bit. My strongest belief for the next decade is that crypto applications will permeate all facets of culture. Crypto application, that's where we are, baby. The past 10 years have been about deep tech and finance, but in the next 10, we will see crypto consumer apps collide with news, politics, sports, health and fitness, music, live streaming, video, podcasting, and more. These apps will be among the most useful and valuable to ever exist. This seems to be a contrarian view among capital allocators who continue to throw big money at unoriginal zero-sum products. While the timeline hypes the 69th scalable L1 and yield-bearing stablecoin, builders are quietly working on products that enable new consumer behaviors that will help us get to 1 billion. Billion. But, can you guys imagine that we actually have 1 billion used in crypto? No shot, right? Right. Users ASAP and benefit the world. I've learned a lot from early involvement in many of the consumer apps that have had the most success bridging crypto and culture and bringing in new users over the past 10 years. Coinbase, OpenSea, Polymarket, DYDX, to name a few. If you're thinking about the next generation of bleeding-edge consumer crypto apps, here's 4 lessons that may be useful. All right? Let's see what we got. It won't happen right away, so focus on something you believe in beyond making money and persist over many years. Polymarket has been written off many times, but founder Shane Copland and the team's belief that prediction markets could bring more truth to the world didn't waver. They've hit roadblocks along the way that would have caused most to give up, but a strong belief in something non-obvious that is deeper than money helped them stay alive. Polymarket has done over $423 million in volume in 2024. That's a couple months. It is now playing a major role in the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Conviction and persistent pays off. The intersection of pursuit and tourist is key. Coinbase has masterfully lived at the intersection of purist and tourist over a decade. If a product is too purist, it will remain niche and never break out. There may be a small group of people who are steeped in historical knowledge and appreciate nuance that love it, but building for purists caps your market size. If a product is too tourist, people will love it for a moment and leave the next. Easy come, easy go. In 2012, Brian Armstrong made the early design decision to provide a hosted wallet service to users with the belief that non-custodial wallets would not lend itself to mass market growth. Coinbase is a $50 billion plus public company now thanks to that decision. Go deep in understanding users and the culture of the market you're in. And this is kind of interesting, just as like a side note, as do we really understand the culture, right? Because I think for a lot of people you do, and one of the quickest things you'll realize is when somebody's newer or like you kind of can tell if somebody's like faking their interest in something, and you can typically out them right away. And we've seen that happen quite a lot within the space. And so understanding the culture and the market you're in. Back again. When OpenSea launched in 2018, there were other NFT marketplaces that raised more money and had more brand investors involved. I remember way back in the day, it was all about, who was backing what product, yada, yada, yada. OpenSea won because D. Finzer and Xander didn't care about fake prestige or creating some false narrative around the company. They were just focused on building a useful product. They talked to every NFT creator, they went to every NFT event, and they understood the culture better than their competitors. Don't worry about surface level narratives, go deep, and you will outlast the people playing the perception game. Block out the existing tribal noise and create your own tribe. Yo, LTNFT.root. Yo, are we creating a tribe? Hell yeah. I hope you're doing well. Apps that are truly useful don't need to pick and appease any existing tribe. They can instead create their own tribe. DYDX has shown the way on this front. Antonio and team started in the Ethereum ecosystem, then launched a StarkX powered L2, then launched DYDX chain powered by Cosmos SDK. This is likely to be more common in the future. Once you prove out the utility of your app, you can be fully sovereign and launch your own chain rather than giving up a lot of control and value to an existing chain. So the last point here, what do you think the best play is? As you've seen within the space, some people have had the skills and the wherewithal to be able to launch their own chain. Some have had the ability to create an NFT, a branding of sorts, have that sell out, and then they need a hell of a lot of assistance afterwards. And what's cool about the entire space is there's people on both ends of the spectrums to be able to assist in whatever is needed. But consumer crypto, how big does that change in the last little bit? We're seeing it more and more on the timeline. Will the tech become hidden? That is another question. Optic Gaming, having just a tweet here, take you down memory lane for a second. What are the best video game covers of all time? Do you remember Call of Duty Black Ops 1? I don't know the SOCOM one here, but it was a greatest hits. We got Halo 2 with the original Xbox. Do you remember the opening for the Xbox, the way that sounded and that like green jello was moving around? Okay, listen, we got to skip that one. Sheesh. We got some old Mega Man. I remember playing that on the, what was it? The Game Boy or the DS? I forget. But some of these different ones, the old PlayStation Need for Speed, some of those covers, do they ever bring back memories? Okay, so question just around branding, the connections, the tribes that we just kind of talked about. So Valhalla Foundation here, which is the, I guess, the ApeCoin variation of what's going on for Infinigods, right? Because everything's called like the Foundation. If I'm wrong with that, please let me know. But they highlighted 21 different communities that are now joined with this. So all holders of partner assets can now instantly claim bonus thunder and bonus multipliers in pursuit of God token rewards. And again, the aspect of tokenizing absolutely everything, it continues. But the reason that I'm highlighting this is because I wanted to take a look at these, and hopefully you're able to see that. And maybe we'll do it like this so you can kind of see. How many of these are you familiar with? Now, this is obviously a way to help bring people within a community. And for anybody that's on audio, they have Neo Tokyo, Magic Eden, Zai, Rumble Kong League, Chimpers in here, Aperon, and You might be familiar with a couple of them. You might not. For myself, I went through and I know about like 7 of the 20. And when I mean no, I mean that like generally very loosely about them. But it's interesting because is this going to bring in a mass amount of players because they're giving out new tokens? Is it people that are going to be the tourists that were previously mentioned and then be out of the ecosystems? All these different brands, all these things starting in Web3. I think most of them, when you look across the board, you know, the Chimpers community, they're going to be following what they are. Neo Tokyo as well. Magic Eden's in here, which is kind of like, I don't exactly know what NFTs fall under the Magic Eden aspect, but I'm just having more and more questions about the interoperability, the connection between everything. Is it really just you're being in this space? Hopefully your collection has some kind of airdrop potential in other ecosystems and you chill out. Is this going to be a mass saturation event? What the hell is going on? Okay, so David here, who is a League of Legends content creator, highlighted something that made me think of myself, actually, to be totally truthful, because the entertainment industry is changing massively. And I was realizing the other day how much I watch people that are co-streaming events or talking about things afterwards, right? Like House of the Dragon, you go on YouTube, you watch people break down the sessions or rewatch it live. For League of Legends, there's a ton of co-streamers and all that kind of jazz. And let me just read this tweet and then we'll kind of talk about it more. So, co-streaming is the permanent future of esports and entertainment. Riot knows this, and it's why they are shifting the business model away from sponsorship, because they won't get as many when sponsors can just go to the creator. They are now forced into the action they should have taken years ago, which is focusing on how to better monetize directly through the fans' wallet rather than their eyes. Oh, maybe a little bit of and integration. As important as player roster moves might be, the creator signings for teams have become even more influential. The power in content creator hands grows stronger each and every day. Now, maybe something that's a little bit more relatable for you. If you watch Call of Duty League, there's Scump, Zuma, they're co-streamers about this, but think about it. For different sports teams that are out there, even if you have people that cover a different game typically, if you can get them to co-stream certain games that are, you know, lower tier, that's not like the upper echelon, I feel like there's a whole realm out there where in the aspect of streamers having very specific niches and people that you kind of vibe with, we're in 2024, that massive connectability. Very curious how that's going to play a role within Web3, these different opportunities out there, if anything comes of it. But streamers and all this does feel the future. Internet of value, you know, feels like we're cooking. So back on April, do you guys remember when a alien CryptoPunk sold for $12.4 million? Tolly, question for you, my guy. $12 million or this alien CryptoPunk? Have your, and again, it's United States dollars, to be specific. Chainlink, the tokenized real-world asset category, could eventually flip all of cryptocurrency value. If that ends up happening, what do we think? Is it going to be in stable coins? Is it going to be some kind of thing to do with the US dollar? Oh, yeah, right. It would have to be stable coins for the value of most of these things, or at least I think so. Obviously, there's denominations where you can buy things with Solana, ETH, et cetera, et cetera. But the more this gets out there, I'm just like, you know, might be the case. Yo, you're going for the punk? Okay, listen, Dolly's trying to get that big-ass loan, baby. I am confused as hell on this. So Garga, CEO of Yuga Labs, posted the screenshot saying, as we gear up for Metropolis and Project Dragon, was taking a quick look back at the swamp from the second trip. Forget how much we love toads at Yuga. And then Bojangle is saying the fact that Yuga Labs' biggest project right now, Project Dragon, is a Meebits NFT shooter in a Meebits world makes me so bullish on Meebits. So my confusion with this is like, this doesn't necessarily, I mean, so this was a reflection piece, right? But for Metropolis and Project Dragon, I didn't think Project Dragon was in this Metropolis. I thought it was something to do with other side. Where the hell's Meebits coming into it? Apparently Meebits aren't even, you know, comparatively to the way that they were. We go Meebits. They are at 0.38 right now, down 7%, top bid 0.36. It's been very, very quiet on the Meebits front in that regard. Okay, quick video here regarding Battle Plan, Pixel Vault updates regarding what's going on with their game. If you haven't seen them, it's not actually that bad.
Obviously, battle plan might pause or stop occasionally, but the team never does. So we've been absolutely cranking the whole time. All of the brawlers actually are now ready to go. So we've got basically like releases that we're going to be chunking out, but we've got all of the attribute skills for the rest of the meta hero lifts ready to go. Some of them are in like the last phases of testing, but we have all the art assets for them. We've got the game design down for it. We've got the last little bit of rig testings type stuff and just putting those to the paces. We've also actually revamped the rigs so that load times are going to be a lot faster. So it's very much a multi-step process because you've got the game design portion, which is where Andrew jumps in and basically is saying, cool, what attributes on this brawler do we want to tie skills to? And then how do those skills look in the context of the game overall? Keeping an eye towards a combination of theming, but then of course game balance. We don't want to have anything that's like completely game breaking. And we've seen that before in the meta where, you know, there will be one skill that will really shine and then everything becomes focused around that. So there's a huge amount of balance that goes into coming up with these new skills. And then
don't want to go through all of it, but again, very, very cool to see the behind the scenes aspect of it. If you haven't seen Battle Plan, we do have a video that's uploaded of me playing that if you are checking out just the video tab over on YouTube. And very excited to see all the updates. And again, one of the things with this is we're seeing, as I've mentioned yesterday and throughout the week and the past little bit, more and more of these blockchain-based games having the launches, reopening, in that case where there was kind of some bugs and delays and whatever else, but now it's coming back live, the bigger plans, the bigger partnerships, the bigger rewards, all of this is coming down. And then we had a 10K TF shop here also having a little bit of a trailer with some crazy lights, just kind of couple of seconds of showing these different characters that look like those avatars and potentially them being playable within the worlds, because that's what these look like with the 3D models. So the whole metaverse idea, guys, we're getting freaking close. From an article, the global metaverse market was valued at $41.9 billion in 2020 and is projected to reach $1,237 billion by 2030. Holy smokes, is that a lot of X's? Growing at a CAGR of 40% from 2021 to 2030. All right, guys, we're here. We're ready for the metaverse. Now, way back in the day, Mogul Productions was actually somebody that like I talked to and they reached out to me, and apparently they're launching their token next week, where movies meet Web3, the leaders of Film 3 Revolution, powered by Mogul. Haven't really heard anything about them since they reached back out way back when, but they're doing a token and, you know, hell, we'll watch and see what happens. The Land Vault. If you guys remember way back in the day, Land Vault was a huge component of people that were building out their sandbox land, and they just sold again after 7 years of hard work. Land Vault has been acquired by Infinite IR for $450 million. Now, if I remember correctly, Land Vault had a ton of sandbox land, and I'm not sure how much else for metaverse land, but there were people that you went to have people again build out the experiences within these metaverse worlds, where now I think that's still the case, but one of the reasons why I've been paying attention to Futureverse is because they're saying, hey, we have these tools that are built with AI to help you build out these things, so you don't necessarily have to spend a whole lot of money on people to build out certain aspects of things. But again, crazy amounts here, $450 million for some metaverse land. Holy smokes. Young content highlighting an announcement from Ben Morrow. Do you guys remember the Huxley saga? Hell yeah. Excited to announce worldwide publishing for Huxley Saga with Thames and Hudson and ROM VG. Their 75-year history of creating exceptional books and expansive distribution networks will help bring Huxley, The Oracle, and future books to global retail audience for years to come. So Huxley was a Avatar collection that was made by Ben Morrow. He's been on like the artist team for Halo and a lot of other massive things. And I thought they looked freaking cool. If you don't remember what they look like and you were back then, here's a little bit of an idea of them. There was a game attached, but there are some books, and I think I have some of the first editions in the closet as well. But Thames and Hudson is a publisher of illustrated books in all visually creative categories, with a whole bunch of them, headquartered in London. It has a sister company in New York and subsidiaries in Melbourne, all these other places. Thames and Hudson Group currently employs approximately 150 staff in London and approximately 65 more around the world. They highlight how they've done like 2,000 titles in print. I was going through this earlier, and I was going to read it, and I was like, there's not a whole lot that I recognize from what they've done. Except in here, Thames and Hudson published 10 titles in the first year of 1950, including English Cathedrals with photographs by Martin Hürlimann and Albert Einstein's Out of My Later Years. So if you're familiar with that, there you go. Do you guys remember when Gucci came into the space and they dolled up a whole bunch of NFTs? What an unbelievably strange entry from a massive brand in Web3, but gotta love it. This is what they came up with for Bored Ape Yacht Club. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight Root Punks here and some on the Root Network, but I want to kind of give it like a different perspective on things, because if you remember when the Say Network came out, there was a ton of talk on the timeline. The interest in the network was blowing up. And again, I hadn't really seen the network before, but the NFTs that were associated with it went completely crazy. And I don't know how many of them had necessarily anything extra to them, but it was a new chain and it was expensive. And I was like, holy hell, like I see this on my timeline. These are kind of cool. And it brings me back to when different Solana NFTs, Solana Monkey Business, Ape Degen Club. And I mean, even for, most of us that were using the Ethereum ecosystem, some of those early mints you ended up missing out on. And it was like, damn. But now you can buy things for like less than $30. Do we care about the identities? Do we care about the NFTs? All that kind of crazy stuff. Again, these are just some Root Punks that are on the Root Network. But I just, I've been thinking about new chains and the potential growth of them. Are people going to call everything early in the chain cycle historic? Does it matter? Are these narrative driven? What the hell is the dealio? Now, big fan of Silo. They increased the secret capacity nodes. And I asked, are there any activations coming this month? And of course, guys, as I said, why is there a like button available to you on your own tweets unless they intend you to like it? So remember, always like your own tweets, but be aware if you've tagged somebody else, they get a notification that you liked your tweet and they might think you're a little strange. Yeah, just FYI. But Silo responded saying, we got to hush up here. So maybe we see some fireworks going on with Silo this month. Now, on the Root Network kind of conversation as well, the Animoca brands, Mochaverse, highlighting this Mocha versus NFT with a car. This looks exactly like Racers from Futureverse, where they have kind of like a car racing game that you wager, similar to Zed-Run. The aesthetics of all this look very, very similar. It's done in the Mochaverse context. Might be just speculation and way off in the deep end here, but I thought that was very interesting. The noun floor is down to 0.299 ETH. Holy smoke. So I remember a while ago, there was all this conversation about, well, the nouns could vote and get all of their money back out, right? Like if they decided to do their whole treasury and pay out to the nouns, they would just get their amount of money back. I'm like, okay, like that sounds good in theory, but when has that ever actually happened? But then the arguments again come out. Okay, do you want NFTs for the art? Do you want them for the yield? If you have a new one every single day, is there anything that Nouns is doing to get people to want to purchase those? Again, Nouns does have an esports team in various sports, and they do some different things. But again, the narratives change quick. Yo, Kid Arcade, good morning. Yo, nice new profile on X. This man is cooking. Good to see you. Tips to avoid getting hacked. This is important. Listen up. Recently had someone ping me on Telegram to discuss investment. I didn't know them, but they seem to have done their research on us. This actually happens pretty regularly, so not immediate red flag. We set up a call. Invite has no link for the video. Guy is running late. I ping him on Telegram to find out what's going on with the meeting, and he replies... and the replies are in super broken English first the initial exchange. As the invite doesn't have a video conference link, I send him a Google Meets link that I created. He replies with his own custom link, says he has team members in China and can't access Meets. The link is hidden, and when I check points to a online collab domain that doesn't have a website and I've never heard of, immediately suspicious. I suggest Zoom, which is available in China. Guy insists on using his link, then starts sending out more hidden links, which when I check them out are point to a random domains with no website. Between him being late and this messing around, I only have 10 minutes until my next meeting, so I decline and we suggest we set up a Zoom call for another day when I have more time and we resolve these issues. Check back and he's deleted the entire message history. Now, I mean, for the majority of you, I would hope that the initial, hey, you just sent me a link, I'm going to send you one back, is kind of suspicious to begin with. But in general, always be super vigilant. Don't think people are trying to be your friends. Be aware. But friendly reminder on this post as well, only take meetings from known platforms, Google Meet, Zoom, etc. Don't install random video conferencing apps. Don't click random links to access video conferencing. If someone insists on using their custom solution, just move on. It's not worth risking getting hacked. Big Floppa here. What a crazy name. The NFT business model is alive due to partner airdrop. So this has been a massive talking point with different ecosystems because, well, the fact that at a point within this realm, there used to be airdrops from partner collections or having access to certain whitelist mints that yielded some incredible returns because the demand was just there. So quickly going at this, let's check and see what has been said. So apparently for Pudgy Penguins, you've been able to claim up to $28,000 so far from Dimension, Watsy on ETH, ZK Sync, not going through all of that, but 28K, potentially, you could have snagged from holding a Pudgy Penguin. Scrolling on down for Mad Lads over on Solana, you might have been gotten airdrops upwards of $36,000. $36,000. Tensorians by Tensor HQ, holders got up to $10,000, and you can see how the list goes on, and it's weird to talk about because at the same time, for most people, you tell them like, hey, there's these weird opportunities out here, and unless you're living it, like it's, you don't realize it's out there. Chainlink, transforming the $30 trillion global trade industry. 7 ways how Chainlink and blockchain technology can pave the way to a new era of global trade. So what does Chainlink have to say? Interoperability. Chainlink CCIP provides a universal blockchain interoperability standard that is essential to connecting all supply chain systems and integrating real-world data on-chain. So I want to stop on this first point for a second. When we talk about interoperability, when we talk about the standard of things, how many things actually need to be interoperable? Right. And I'm no like designer or anything like that. I don't have that experience, but within gaming experiences, right? What is that needed? Well, I don't know how much it's been needed necessarily in the past, but now all these games are seemingly all connected in a way, and there's going to be a standard of some sort. And the question is, who creates those standards, who benefits from them, etc. This allows for accurate, tamper-proof data to flow between disparate systems, ensuring transparency and efficiency in global trade operations. Financing. The current financial system is inefficient, which is pretty much, I do a podcast called RWA Segments. If you guys want to check that in the X bio or down in the YouTube description down below. Everyone I talk to on that is making points all the time about how inefficient the traditional system is and costly due to numerous involved parties. Moving trade finance on-chain supported by smart contracts and reliable market data, identity, information, and proof of reserves would drastically increase efficiency. Documentation. The current system is paper-based, slow, cumbersome, and vulnerable to fraud. Reformatting paper documents as dynamic NFTs and leveraging Chainlink automation and function allows for automatic, verifiable updates of digitized documents along the supply chain. And this kind of comes into the whole aspect of NFT leveraging platforms, et cetera, et cetera. There's going to be a lot. And obviously, this is talking about the global trade industry as a whole, but I feel like this, you know, the conversation of documentation, things all being on chain and being like lickety split, guys. If you're somebody who needs to like take your time to figure things out, holy smokes, the world's going a mile a minute. Coordination, global trade's dependence on numerous participants and processes heightens trust assumptions and causes delays. Transitioning to a standardized on-chain system powered by Chainlink's decentralized infrastructure would automate operations, minimize errors, and reduce back office costs. So again, as we continue to read here, I'm just thinking, damn, if Chainlink's able to really get the whole global trade thing down, obviously there's going to be a lot of chains to try to do things, but if it's kind of a race for all these chains to really capture that market right now. Fraud. Global trade today suffers from a lack of verification, tracking, and transparency, which leads to issues like counterfeit goods and double financing. Chainlink can support end-to-end verification to establish the authenticity of goods, reducing fraud and creating a more secure and reliable system. Now, there's a whole bunch more of them, but holy smokes, we're not going to read it all, but just some food for thought. Yo, Casey, what's going on? When I think of interoperability, I think of Fortnite. When a good product becomes the most popular product due to interoperability, everyone will follow. So that's a great point. I mean, when you say interoperable, though, for Fortnite, are you saying because of the aspect that they've included other IPs and it feels like that game's interoperable? Is it because that you can build other experiences within it and then take your character and it feels very familiar? When you think of the word interoperable, what do you mean? Okay, what the hell is this? So Mario is a guy who does X Spaces, formerly mainly in crypto, and now kind of done a little bit of everything. This is like the craziest, like, unshameful, I'm taking money for ads, like, wildness. So partnership. Do you remember Da Vinci Jeremy? He's the guy who begged us to buy Bitcoin at $1. You missed Bitcoin at $1? No problem. The second chance you've been waiting for could be Waffles J15, a meme coin inspired by his cat Waffles and now supported by himself. Several Sextas listings are lined up for Waffles, as well as an ambitious roadmap that heads up to 1 billion market cap with multiple products such as Waffle Swap, Waffle Send, Waffle Staking, Waffle Sign, and the newest Waffle Studio, a 2D, 3D studio animation. Yeah, this just feels gross, dude. What the hell is this? Why is this on the timeline? Why are people paying for this? And who in the halibut is buying it? I mean, IPs cross platforms all around. One of my favorite times in gaming was like, oh my God, if you have an Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, we can start playing different games together. And I don't remember if it was Overwatch, Call of Duty Warzone. I feel like there was some ones before that, but damn, that shit was fire. Okay, so just a random comment here is, a lot of brands, specifically brands in Web3, have been created. Now, we can say what we want about VFriends, but they've done a lot to try to build out the brand, and I feel, they've done like an okay job of it. But where the hell is everybody else? How does VCon have plushies? They got cards, they got literally everything, and some of these other collections that have way more behind them don't have anything in terms of physical collectibles whatsoever. But it makes you think of collectibles. The one and only. Mocha versus Mocha token launches and it's up 225%. Well, apparently the alpha the other day, guys, is buying the Mocha dip. Up 225%. Holy smokes. Breaking, the German government is down to Bitcoin. When this story hit the timeline, every freaking person I know was retweeting, commenting, giving their perspective on it. The German government just sent 3,846 Bitcoin, 223 million to flow traders and 139PO, which is likely an institutional deposit or over-the-counter service. The German government has 0 Bitcoin remaining. Break out the memes. Everybody's saying this is either going to be the best or worst decision of their lives. I mean, we'll see. Yeah. So the other crazy thing is anytime I save one thing on my bookmark, I always get it back. Remember that puff, puff, paw thing of like the quit smoking? Very next day, Luca Nets is out using it. And I think this is... This was at that conference that happened, kind of crazy. And then Offset here rocking another Web3 brand, Artifact, the Reptile AF1s, assuming Air Force Ones. Seeing more of these brands. We saw Frank Gore, former NFL player. He was rocking the Punks G-Money BAYC collab hoodie the other day. Kind of crazy. And then finally, we're going to end up with some updates here from Fluff World Behind the Castle Walls number 11. This week, a team clad in hazmat suits ventured into the Toxic Ooze Wasteland Island, a treacherous isle shrouded in danger. Their mission was to reinforce the infrastructure of the hazardous island, ensuring its stability for future operations. So if you haven't seen this, this is a game that is like a strategy simulation game. It's all about resource gathering. There is an insane prize pool. Some of the NFTs you can get for like under $100 right now. Same with the land itself. It's one of those things where the sale of the NFTs and everything has come much quicker than the product itself. Obviously, it was in development, but if you guys are interested, we'll probably be playing it a lot on stream when it does come out. But they just showed some extra kind of insights of what the game looks like, and there's some Toxicu shroomies here to safeguard the area for you and Walker World. New authorization protocols were implemented, decreeing that only those with proper credentials gain access. We don't want anyone slipping and falling into a pool of toxic ooze, do we? So this is where the conversation about the NFT interoperability, other collections where they've partnered with Doodles, Cool Cats, Pudgy Penguins to be able to play within this game. Again, how many other people come and join this and play? Does that interoperability within Web3 matter, or is it just a buzzword? That is the question of the day. But that's it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you so much for coming on through. Kid Arcade, Casey, M. Doliel, TNFT.ru. Rui. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you on the one and only